Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark, another Mad Movie Mark movie review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1957 Italian Fellini classic, Nights of Cabiria.
Ah, ma ancora stai qua? Ancora non ti sei stufata di chiacchierare? Ma che non ci vedi con l'occhio destro? E allora cerca andatene! Perché tu te credi che io mi credo che tu sei un'amica! E vattene!
There's no reason to get upset. Maybe when we're all done here, we'll all be friends. I'm just reviewing every movie that has 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm giving them all a score of 1 to 10. After I watch them and score them all, I will rank them from worst to best. I started in the 1920s silent movie era, and now I'm at 1957 with Nights of Cabiria. This movie has a 100% fresh rating from the critics and a 94% fresh rating from the audience. It stars Giulietta Masina, who was the real-life wife of Fellini, and it won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film. So Fellini films are really about the life of the everyday person. When I watched I, Vitelloni, it was about a group of 30-year-olds who didn't work, who really had no direction in life. They had no ambition in life. And it was kind of how their lives were unfolding in this town. Now, this movie is no different. It surrounds the female named Cabiria. She is a prostitute, but much more than that, she is someone in this movie who is basically trying to find herself. She's trying to improve herself. She's trying to be more than what she is. And not just because she's a prostitute, but just because she wants more in life than what she has. And there's a revelation later in the movie where she realizes that if she continues down the same path that she's going down, when she gets older, she's going to have a much harder time making her living this way, and that she really needs to find something else that she enjoys and something else that she wants to do in life. So when this movie starts, she's with her boyfriend. They're at this body of water. They're talking, they're doing what couples do. When he pushes her in the water and then he takes her purse and runs away. She is unable to swim. She flails and she starts drowning. The neighborhood kids come in. They rescue her with the aid of the adults in the town. They give her the help she needs, and she ends up coming back. So they fear that she was dead, but she comes back, and instead of kind of giving her gratitude and thanking them for saving her life, she says, where's Giorgio? Where's my boyfriend? What happened to him? I have to go find him. So she kind of flees the scene. The guys in the neighborhood, they're a little put off by this, but she flees the scene and she goes back to her house. And when she gets to her house, she realizes she doesn't have the key. Giorgio has her wallet. There's really nothing she can do. She's approached by one of her friends, and her friend asks her, what happened to her, where she's been. She explains that she fell into this water, and that Giorgio got scared, and he ran off. She then explains to her that Giorgio probably pushed you in and stole your money, and you're never going to see him again. This brings out a lot of emotion in her. She can't understand why Giorgio left her. She gave Giorgio everything that she had, her love, her money, her time, and he just took her money and ran and went away. She's very good at, when a tragic event happens, she's able to just kind of, brush it off and not worry about it and go on to the next thing. So after she's done dancing and having fun with her friends, she notices that there's this really famous, important actor across the street. Now, this actor is having a fight with his girlfriend, and eventually he decides that he's going to be a little physical with his girlfriend. She gets upset and she drives away. He then looks over at Cabiria and he notices that she was looking at him, and he starts striking up a conversation with her, and he convinces her that they should go out at that moment to a nightclub. So they go out to this nightclub where these girls start swooning over him, but he says, I'm with Cabiria here. I can't entertain whatever you want from me. And then they start dancing. Now, Cabiria starts doing her dancing that she was doing in the middle of the streets, where kind of like dance like no one's watching you type of thing, where she's having a lot of fun and she doesn't care who else is in the room looking at her. She doesn't care who's judging her. She's just out there having fun dancing. When they get back to this gentleman's house, Jesse's house. He says that he was incredibly embarrassed by the way she was dancing. And then she lets it be known that she knows that he's a big actor. And she says, if you just let me stay here and eat food with you, I'll serve you food. I'll do whatever you want. I'll listen to whatever music you want. I think she sees this as maybe a chance for her to become something more, that she can be a girlfriend to this famous actor. Maybe she's got these visions in her head of what it would be like to be the girlfriend of a famous actor. And she kind of thinks that this is more than what we are seeing as an audience. As an audience, we are assuming that he is probably going to be using her, that she's just kind of a rebound, but she sees it as something much more than what it actually is. His girlfriend that he was arguing with that night comes up to his apartment. Cabiria hides. She's told to hide. And then he basically starts kissing her, making up with her, and she eventually stays the night. And Cabiria realizes that this is not the relationship that she thought it would be. So she goes home, but instead of being this broken person who goes home sad, she goes home and she's able to just kind of wash this day away from her mind. This day doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to start brand new. They live in kind of underground caves, and when she's at these underground caves, she notices that there's this prostitute who she knew once in her life. Now, this was a prostitute who was known for having everything that she could ever want in life. She had money, she had cars, she had nice houses, but eventually she grew old and her looks faded, and then she had nothing else to fall back on. Once she wasn't able to do prostitution anymore, she just became incredibly poor. She lost everything, and now she's living in this cave under the ground. And I think that this is really the pivotal moment for Cabiria, where she realizes that she needs to kind of do something else with her life. Otherwise, she's going to end up the same as this old woman. She ends up attending a church service where they're praying to Madonna, I guess. And, she ends up praying and she asks for a better life. And then the next day, she's out with her friends, and she's sad and angry because nothing has changed. Everything in their life is the same. They're all in the same profession. They're all in the same lot in life. Going to church and praying didn't help anything. And she was told that the church works miracles. There was even a guy there who was on crutches, and his family forced him to let go of the crutches so that the church can make him walk again, which didn't happen. But she thought that was going to be the case. Finally, Cabiria then goes to a magic show, and at this magic show, there's a magician who hypnotizes people. Now, he asks for a bunch of males to come on stage and for one female. He picks Cabiria out of the audience, and she's reluctant to go up on stage, but she eventually gives in and goes up on stage. Now, this for me is probably my favorite part of the movie, when she's hypnotized. It's beautiful. Her acting really shines in this part of the movie, and the way it's filmed is just incredible. So he hypnotizes her, and he makes her believe that there's a gentleman named Oscar who is in love with her and wants to marry her, wants to be with her, and while she's hypnotized, at the end of it, she ends up saying, "Do you really love me? Is there someone in this world that really loves me for who I am?" And you can really hear her heart reaching out. She's incredibly embarrassed because she doesn't know what happened, and she ends up waiting until very late at night to where she thinks everyone is gone so she can leave without any of the spectators seeing her. When she leaves, there is one spectator who was there that night who comes up to her and says, "What you did up on stage was beautiful. The words you said, they just moved me like no other person has ever moved me before. I don't normally believe in this kind of stuff, but it was just incredible. I'm just floored. I can't believe the excitement I have for what you did on stage." And then he says, "I have to see you again." And she's reluctant because she doesn't know who this guy is. She doesn't, she doesn't trust him. But she eventually gives in, and she sees him, and he takes her out to fine places. He wines her, he dines her, he gives her gifts. At every place they go, he pays for it. This gives her a new passion in life. Now she believes that maybe she's actually going somewhere. And Oh, and by the way, this guy who is whining and dining her, his name is also Oscar. Now, when he said his name was Oscar, I was a little like, this sounds a little weird. That your name is Oscar too, but. You know, you can see there's a new fire in her. There's a new life in her now that there's this guy named Oscar in her life who loves her and wants her for who she is. He eventually proposes marriage to her, and this is like after 10 days of dating her. Now she thinks this is a little strange, but she ends up agreeing. She ends up saying yes. At the end of the movie, there's this really moving scene where she has to say goodbye to her best friend in town and goodbye to all the people in town. And she's really emotional, but she's really happy because she finally can be more than a prostitute. She can finally be more than what she is, more than what her lot in life was. She's moving up in the world, and she's finally a happy person. So, of course, everyone in town is happy for her. Her friend's happy for her, though her friend is very sad to lose her. So her and Oscar end up going on a drive. Oscar takes her up to this really, really high cliff. She tells Oscar that she has a dowry that she cashed out, which is $400,000, and that they can buy their first house with this money, and that they can, raise a family with this money, and they can have a really good life with this money. He told her that he was a government worker and he makes good money. So now they both, are contributing, and this is the life that she wanted. So once they get up on top of this cliff, he asks her, do you know how to swim? And she says, no, actually, I was pushed into a river once, and I almost drowned. Wait a minute, you're going to try to kill me and take my money, aren't you? And then she falls to the ground and she starts crying and she breaks down and she says, just take the money, please kill me, I don't want to live anymore. You don't know the heartache that I've been through in my life. I just can't stand another person telling me they love me and another person throwing me away. This isn't something I can do anymore. So of course, he takes the money and he leaves because he's spineless. And she wakes up the next morning. She falls asleep there. Or I don't know if she passes out or she falls asleep. But then she wakes up the next morning and she kind of dusts herself off. She gets up. She starts walking home. She sees a group of people who are laughing and having fun and playing around. And then you just see one tear drop down her cheek. But she's going to be fine because she's gone through a lot in this movie. Every time she goes through something, she picks herself back up and she's able to somehow make it through. Even though she doesn't have that $400,000 anymore, she's somehow going to make it through. She's going to find her way. And, and that's the ending of the movie. And I think it's a fantastic ending. Not the sad part where she gets used again, but the fact that she picks herself up and she's going to seize the day, she's going to take over the world. I thought it was really quite good. Giulietta Masina is fantastic in this movie. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite my favorite female character in the movie, but she plays the part perfectly. I think she won a Cannes Film Festival Best Actress Award for this movie, and she definitely deserved it. Fantastic. All the other players in this movie who are around her are also really good. I think Fellini does a really good job of making these characters so that we can relate to them. And I'm sure everyone has had a time in their life where they felt like they've been completely beaten down and they have to pick themselves up and they have to find a way to go again. It's just, she has a lot of those happening all in one short period of time, but it really shows what a strong person she is. Anyone else who was in that situation with the profession that she has, I'm sure not everyone has that same drive that she has, that same passion that she has to really make something of herself. And I think it's commendable that she has that. I also love her energy that she brings to this movie when she's dancing. I think it's fantastic. I think it's the mambo that she's doing, and she does a really good job of it. And I think she's just a really good female character for females to watch this movie and have kind of someone to model themselves after. I'm going to be a father of a daughter in about 3 months, and I would let my daughter watch this movie, and I would tell her that life is going to bring these instances that are going to challenge you, and you can either fall over and die and let the challenge destroy you, or you can pick yourself up and you can defeat the challenge, and you can say to yourself, I'm ready for something, I'm ready for the next challenge. And I think that that's what she does. And at the end of the movie, she's completely on her own. She's left her town, she's left her friends. Her friends think that she is married, so if she goes back to her town, she risks the embarrassment of telling everyone that she was once again played by a guy. She's lost all of her money, so she's really down in the dumps here. But at the end of the movie, she still finds a way to get up and go, because she knows that's all that she can do. She has to keep fighting. And I think that's fantastic. The directing in this movie is fantastic. The camera work is great. Like I said, the hypnosis scene is absolutely amazing, the way it's shot. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It was just so good. The story is fantastic. There are scenes in this movie that are funny, and there are scenes in this movie that will just rip your heart out. And I think it's just a really spectacular movie all around. The script is also fantastic. There's not a lot I can say about it. There's not a lot of movies that I've seen that have a prostitute where they have this much passion and this much dedication to get themselves out of the position that they're in, and they come so close so many times, and it just doesn't work. Like, I've seen movies before where there's just one thing that they're trying to accomplish, and then maybe at the end they don't accomplish it. But in this movie, there's so many days consecutively where she's trying to improve herself, and it just doesn't happen. But anyway, I thought this movie was really good. I didn't really think it was as good as Eye of Vitelloni. There's just other scenes in that movie that I thought were shot so well, and this movie doesn't have as many of those scenes that I think are just shot fantastically. But I still give it an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.